I'm always in an identity crisis. I mean, you can see the two flags, but it's really hard not being able to identify as an American because I have lived the majority of my conscious life here, so everything that defines me from my teenage on has been very American, so to say. And not being able to call myself an American because I'm not a citizen has definitely had me a little bit of an identity crisis, because I'm obviously a Mexican citizen, but at the same time, I have family that lives there, so that whole side of me is very Mexican. I was in the school bus on the way to school, and then one of my football teammates didn't like the guy particularly. That's another story. But we start talking, and then he just starts making fun of me for being Mexican, right? And he alludes to the fact that I was illegal, not knowing that I was illegal, but kind of making that reference. And I just punched him in the face and got suspended. So, and this was right in the middle of the golf season. So I ended up missing a match that made me miss the San Diego City Championship. So that kind of sucked. It's kind of hard to have to make your own decisions. I mean, as dumb as that sounds, it's really rough to kind of be on your own and have to figure everything out by yourself. So I'm very thankful of the way I was brought up, even though it's not the most orthodox way of not really living with your family and not living with your mom. And I mean, my mom's probably seen like 2 of my report cards, So I think that's hilarious that I did well in school without a mom pushing me. So that's made me appreciate my hard work, It was also a feeling of kind of being ashamed of my immigration status. It definitely wasn't a positive thing. And one, I didn't think it was other people's business to know that I was going through that, but 2, I was just very ashamed of it. It's not something that I could have controlled in any way. But I was still pretty... It's a big part of who I was at that point and who I still am. So I was closeted not only because of the bad image that comes along with it, but also just because I just hated the subject so much. That's one of the reasons I didn't get involved with any kind of political activism. I just avoided the subject as much as I could in my social life and whatnot. And even now, every time I go to Mexico, when I come back, my heart still pumps. I still have this irrational fear of getting deported or something, even though I'm completely clean and legal and all that. Every time I cross the border back from Mexico, I still, just get nervous right before I cross, just because maybe it's irrational fear, or I don't think that's completely escaped me, and it will eventually, hopefully. But besides the fact of being able to breathe, it's kind of been a slow process.